There are promises that should never be made, especially on the night of the blood moon at the edge of the Hmong forest. Because once a promise is made, whether to the living or the dead, will remember, they will come back to claim that promise. The betrayed soul will come back to claim it all back. Now let me go into the story. Ghosts are real. In the old days of the Hmong people, the girlfriend came back to demand Pao's life because he betrayed her. Once upon a time, in a Hmong village hidden deep in the northwest, there was a young man named Pao, a man respected by the whole village for his strength, dexterity, and eyes as sharp as a mountain knife. Every time Pao went to the market, the village girls jostled each other to give him handkerchiefs and silver hairpins. But in Pao's heart, there was only one person: Mia. Mia is an orphan girl, living at the end of the village, in a house with a thatched roof, nestled at the foot of the mountain. She has a small figure, sad eyes, and a gentle smile, like plum blossoms in the misty season. People in the village often say that Mia has the sad eyes of someone who foresees fate. Even though Mia was poor, had no dowry, no family behind her, Pao still came to see her every afternoon. They sat by the stream, in the middle of the windswept reed forest, playing the flute to each other. Every time the moon rose to the top of the mountain, Pao would say to Mia, "I swear, if you don't let me marry you, I will take you away from here. Even if the sky falls, I will still marry you." They swore by the forest fire, exchanging silver necklaces engraved with the letter M. Pao promised, "As long as you keep this, no matter where you are, I will find you." But that winter, something strange happened. 3 people died unexpectedly at the beginning of the village. Children had high fevers in the middle of the night, calling the name of a girl wearing a floral dress standing at the head of the bed. Rumors spread quickly. There was a forest ghost in the village, and the person suspected was Mia, a girl who had no relatives, no one to rely on. The villagers remembered her melancholy eyes, how she often went alone to the mountains to collect medicinal herbs, and how she had strange dreams with the sound of a flute that was out of tune. They said Mia was not a mortal, but a forest ghost, disguised as a village girl, bringing bad luck. The village began to avoid Mia. Children were forbidden to come near her. Old people spat at her whenever she passed. Mia had only one person by her side, Pao, but Pao also began to change. He became quieter, no longer holding her hand in public. When Mia asked, he just looked away. Mia said to Pao, "How about we leave the village, Pao?" Maya said, her eyes sparkling. Paul replied, "No, I have another way. There is a shaman in the next village. He is very good. I will take you there. After the curse is lifted, we will get married." Maya nodded, believing him. But Maya did not know that was Paul's ruse. Early the next morning, Pao took Mia into the forest. The mountain path was covered in thick white fog. All one could hear was footsteps and the lonely chirping of birds. Mia held Pao's hand tightly. The silver necklace on her chest was cold as ice. "Kane and Pao, is it far?" Pao covered it up. "Almost there. You go first, I'll follow." And this is the rice full of the moon coming to sugarcane when betrayed. And when Mia turned back, Pao was no longer there. There was only the sound of the wind whistling through the leaves of the forest, and an empty path stretching into the darkness.
Pao? Pao, stop joking. I'm scared. Pao. Pao.
No one answered. Pao had left. It was not a trip to the shaman. It was not to save Mia. It was to abandon her. In the middle of the forest, in the cold trap of betrayal, Pao left without looking back. He walked out of the forest as if escaping from a long dream, as if a heavy burden had been lifted. He did not turn around, did not hear Mia's faint call echoing behind him. In the deep forest, Mia still stood there, bewildered, shivering in the cold mist. She waited. 1 night, then 2 nights. Then her eyes were dry, Her voice became her last breath. No shaman came. No Pao. Just her and the darkness. Mia died there under the old tree, whose roots twisted like ghostly hands. It is said that when her body was found, her eyes were wide open, as if she was still waiting for someone to return. Her mouth was dry and cracked, but she kept her last words. Pao, why haven't you come back yet? After that death, the deep forest began to change. During the day, there were still green trees, birds singing, and leaves falling silently. But when the sun set behind the mountain peaks, the forest seemed to transform into another world. Cold, quiet, and scary. Hunters said they heard the sound of Mia's flute in the middle of the night, the flute she used to play for Pao by the stream. But now, it was distorted, broken, and plaintive, like a wordless cry. Some swore they saw the silhouette of a girl in a faded floral dress, her hair loose, standing under the moon at the base of an ancient tree, holding a blood-stained silver necklace. From that day on, Pao began to have nightmares. At first, they were just fleeting dreams. He saw a figure standing in the middle of the forest, then turning away. But gradually, the dreams became clearer. Mia appeared with a purple face, white eyes without pupils, messy hair stained with blood and mud. She did not cry. She just stood still, looking at him. Then she spoke in a whisper, as if through a crevice in a grave.
You promised to marry me. Then why did you give me to death?
During the day, Pao lost his appetite and sleep. At night, he woke up with a start, his back drenched in cold sweat. The familiar call still ringing in his ears. Pao, I'm home. Then one night, when the whole village was asleep, Pao heard a knock on his door. 3 dry knocks. He didn't dare open it, but the door slowly opened. There was no wind, no one, only the smell of damp earth and the smell of dead bodies. Pao screamed, holding his head, then saw on the windowsill a silver necklace, the one he had given Mia as a token of engagement. Now, it was stained with dried blood, clearly engraved with a deeply slashed P. The next day, the villagers saw Pao sitting in front of his house, his eyes absent-minded, his mouth muttering, I'm home. Sugarcane, don't take me away. The village called the shaman to come and hold a ceremony to resolve the matter. But that very night, Pao's family altar caught fire for no reason. The ancestral portrait was torn to pieces. On the floor, people saw the words written in blood, Don't promise. If you can't keep your word. Pao was no longer Pao. His soul was cut into pieces. The villagers began to whisper, Maya has really returned, and she is demanding her promise back. On the full moon night of December, the moon was hidden behind a curtain of clouds, as black as cold ash. It was pouring rain, thunder and lightning were booming, shaking Pao's roof. He locked the door, turned off all the lights, and covered himself with a blanket like a child. His heart was beating wildly in his chest, because he knew that tonight she would return. And then, a knock sounded on the door. Not fast, not slow, as if someone very familiar, very patient, was waiting. Pao froze. Cold sweat broke out. His mouth mumbled a plea.
Please, don't, sugar, forgive me.
But the knocking continued. Then a soft voice, escaping from the crack of the door, whistled like a cold wind scratching through a cliff.
Open the door. I'm home.
Pao closed his eyes tightly, but the door opened by itself, with a long, creepy creak. Cold wind blew in from outside, carrying with it the smell of damp earth, and the smell of old corpses. In the midst of the white rain, Mia stood there. Her face was cracked like a broken stone statue. Her gray skin was covered with bruises. Her eyes were white, without pupils. Her old floral dress was soaked, stained with black blood and forest mud. In her hand was the silver necklace that Pao had given her, now stained red with fresh blood, dripping onto the floor. Mia did not enter. She just stood there, looked at him, and spoke in a voice that echoed from the underworld.
You promised to marry me. Now I will take you to the forest to marry.
Pao screamed, but no sound came out. His mouth was open, his eyes rolled back, his body held tight by invisible hands. Mia's shadow stretched, slithering across the floor like cold smoke. She walked in step by step, without touching the ground. With each step, the fire in the house went out. The necklace fell into Pao's hand, sticking to her skin as if it were on fire. Mia reached out her hand, her fingers long and cold as ice. Pao seemed possessed and unable to resist. He stood up, his eyes lifeless. The door of the house opened. The two figures gradually faded in the night rain, walking towards the deep forest. The next morning, Pao's house was empty. On the altar there was only a bloody handprint and a line of words scratched into the wood with a fingernail. That day the sky was clear and cloudless, but the village was strangely quiet. People came to Pao's house. The door was unlocked. The house was as quiet as a grave. On the bed there was only a trail of blood from the pillow to the floor. No one saw Pao anymore. No body. No footprints. No calls. Only the sound of the Mia flute resounded every full moon. Night, shrill, choked, then silent in the shade of the trees. The villagers still whisper, "Promises must be kept. Otherwise, it will be a nightmare. And when night falls, if anyone makes a promise and doesn't keep it, watch out. Because there are promises that will send you to your grave."